But yeah, we used to do this at 5:15, and it's called 24 Years at the Tap End because it took my friend Chris here 24 years to realise that you don't have to sit at the tap end in the bath, and actually, the other end is much more comfortable if you sit away from the taps. So he decided to call a collection of stories from his life, his autobiography, 24 Years at the Tap End.
So I thought we'd go to my 15th year at the tap end.
All right.
Today. Do you know what I worked out? I was looking at how long an average book is, so that see kind of where my progress with this is so far in terms of actually making a book.
Right.
I've worked out we only really need about 15-20 more of these to have a full-on book.
Really?
Which isn't that much.
So what's this about today?
Well, 15th year at the tap end. It was quite an eventful year in my life. I'll take you there right now if you like.
Okay, so...
So some weird magical journey.
Sit back. Relax.
I'm going to strap myself in.
Strap yourself in for the next instalment of 24 Years at the Tap End, the story of Chris's life in autobiography form.
Ready?
Ready.
Ready?
Although it was a holiday, it was also one of those holidays that felt a lot like a school trip. I was boarding the plane, my destination, Mainz in Germany, for the first leg, the away leg, of my German exchange.
Haven't we talked a bit about your German exchange before?
We have done, I think, briefly, yeah.
Why was that? Can't remember.
I didn't really get on with my German exchange, as you'll soon find out.
You hated him.
Oh, yeah.
Hate's a strong word, but yeah, I did. We had been paired with people our German teachers thought we would get on with, and in my hand I held a document containing important information about my exchange called Andreas. I couldn't help but feel that pairing me up with him just because my favourite food was sausage and mash was a bit of a flimsy link, and also dangerous.
Is that the only reason they thought you'd get on well?
Well, because they do that. They try and pair you so that you're with someone you like, but ultimately, there's not that many people involved, so they're just trying to find ways to pair you. It's like all these kind of exchanges. So I ended up with someone purely based on my favourite food question. That's ridiculous, isn't it? I mean, you're basically going over to Germany, to a foreign land, and being put with a family for a week based on sausage.
They take sausages very seriously in Germany.
I was being handed to another family just because of my love of sausage. I appreciate that they like that food, but they might hate everything else about me, or likewise me them, and it's hardly like that can all be sorted over sausage and mash. We arrived in Germany, and things did not get off to a great start. Whereas everyone else had their new families meet them at the airport, I was instructed to get a train to a town I was told was nearby to meet them.
Oh.
I wasn't impressed.
So they couldn't be bothered to come and pick you up?
Well, for one reason or another they couldn't. I never really understood why.
Everyone else got met at the airport?
Yeah. All around me, it was like scenes from Love Actually. All my mates were getting hugs off the German families. It was like I wasn't wanted. Luckily, my mate Paul was in the same situation, so we made our way to catch a train to the nearby town. I can't remember the name of it, but the journey took longer than first expected. I was greeted at our destination by my new German mother. Our German teacher...
She's not your mum.
Was it like foster mum, I guess?
She's not.
Well, she is. For a week.
She isn't, though. She's someone else's mum.
Yeah, but for that week she had to pretend to be my mum, didn't she? Because that's the point of the exchange, is swapping sons.
No, it's not role play. It's not like that, what's that programme on TV on Channel 4 where the wife swap? It's not that.
Like that.
It's not acting. You're just going to stay there as a guest. You don't have to pretend to be their son.
You didn't do that, did you?
Well, I think I did, yeah.
Oh, God.
Did you start calling her mum
I'm just
and
trying to
dad?
trying to remember what the German for mother is.
Mutty.
Mutty?
Yeah.
I thought that was her name.
No, that's mother, mum, isn't it?
Mutty.
Mutty.
That was her name.
I'm sure Mutty means mum.
That was her name.
No, it wasn't her name.
Mutty.
Well, then she's Mutty.
No, she's not going to be called Mum, is she?
Did I think her name was Mum then? When...
You were... What's happened here?
Mutty, that's her name.
No, it's not.
You called her mum all week. You called her mum all week. That would freak me out if I was her.
Yeah, mum.
Brilliant. So...
You were led to believe that was her name.
Yeah.
It wasn't. That's just the German for mum.
I wonder what her name was then.
I don't know. Anyway, mum.
I was greeted at our destination by my new German mother. Our German teacher had told all the German families to speak in German to us so we could learn. I wasn't in the mood for this. I'd had a long journey and was hungry. After a quick Guten Tag, we headed back to the house. To be fair, the following week was good fun. I got on alright with my German exchange. I just thought he was a bit weird. He was obsessed with a band called Rammstein, especially a song called Here Comes die Sonne, which he would play quite a lot. It freaked me out quite a bit.
They're huge in Germany.
I've got a clip of it here. You'll like this one.
Oh, God. How often would he play this?
He played this all the time. It did my head in.
Wow.
Have a listen to this chorus. It's vicious.
Come on!
So you got to see, I had to wake up to this every morning.
First thing.
Harsh.
Whoa.
That's all a bit too much, in my opinion.
Yeah, you're not a fan.
No. His family were pretty cool. Didn't have a clue what they were going on about, but we did a few good things. Went to see a parade, went for a trip down the river, and ate a lot of Bockwurst.
What?
It's a German sausage, I think.
Bockwurst?
I think he means Brockfast.
I thought it was bratwurst.
No, I think that's a curried sausage.
Oh, I
Yeah.
don't know. God, I could
Bockwurst?
never live in Germany, could I?
Bratwurst.
What's
Yeah.
bratwurst?
That's what I said.
That's a sausage.
Bratwurst standard sausage, so what's Bockwurst? What was I eating?
Bockwurst is another sort of sausage.
It's actually sheep's testicles. I've just looked it up.
Bockwurst?
Yeah.
Oh, this is an education, isn't it?
Yeah.
Chicken or even horse meat.
You're joking me.
No. In northern Germany, there's also a version made from fish.
Why didn't you go along with the sheep thing? I had him there.
It can be made from it's made from every
Oh,
animal.
horse isn't that great, Scott.
Pork, lamb, turkey, chicken and horse.
Well, I ate a lot of that. A couple of weeks later, it was time for the return leg. My German exchange arrived in Britain. Despite me urging my parents to let him make his own way, they insisted we picked him up from the airport.
Boo.
My mum was well excited about having a German exchange round. She loved the whole cultural thing. I had to share my room with him, and my family looked after him really well. Proper nice dinners were cooked every night. He had to come to school with me, and I even took him to a Watford game. I remember getting annoyed when he wouldn't chant. On one of the days, my aunt took me and Andreas into London to go visit a few of the tourist sites and get a bit of food. I think I'd got a bit fed up of spending all week carting him around everywhere, like a German shadow. And things built up and boiled over during one incident at Trafalgar Square. I was happily trying to mount a lion when I turned around to see him running round Trafalgar Square. He was trying to kick the pigeons. I lost it. How dare he kick our pigeons? I had a right go at him. I was a patriotic 15-year-old, and looking back, I'm not really sure why I stuck up for the pigeons, but it felt like my duty to my country at the time.
The great British pigeon.
I can believe it. He was
know.
just running round.
Coming over here, kicking our pigeons.
I think by then he'd got a bit too much with the whole Rammstein and horse Bockwurst.
You're ready to blow, weren't you?
I was just annoyed, and yeah, I saw him kicking a pigeon, just went for him. Looking back, maybe I was a bit harsh. My family loved him, and sorry, Becky.
Were you shouting at him from the top of a lion?
Well, I was on top of the
Because I
line.
quite like that imagery of you, like astride a lion, going, "Oi,
Oi.
Andreas, no!"
Oi.
Stop kicking the pigeons.
Yeah,
He was, yeah, so I would have been on top of the line. In fact, I remember it well because they're quite difficult to
they're
scale.
really hard. They're like really tall.
Are you
look-
allowed to mount them?
I'm not
Yeah,
entirely
yeah,
sure.
yeah, it's all good. They look smaller on TV. But you go there, they're quite hard to get up, but they're quite difficult to get down as well. You sort of got to slide off. So I obviously saw him kicking the pigeons, must have shouted, of course, and then chased him.
I'm not convinced you're allowed to go on them.
No, I don't think you are.
You know?
No, I thought that's what the fourth plinth was for.
You're definitely not allowed on the fourth plinth.
You are if you make an appointment, aren't you?
No, you've got to be an exhibit. you've got to be one of the exhibits to be on the 4th plinth, I
You've
think.
researched this, haven't you?
Well, because I'd quite like to be an exhibit.
What are you going to do on the 4th plinth? You have
So-
thought about this.
Yeah, really
You
have.
have thought about this.
I heard what happens is what they do is they choose different people to spend like half a day on the 4th plinth demonstrating, I don't know, blowing up balloons and stuff like that, stuff that the public want to see.
Right, so
Right.
what are you going to do?
Well, I don't know really. I suppose there's a number of things I could do on the 4th plinth.
Oh, yeah?
Because
You said that in a real,
the public really want to see people blowing up balloons.
I don't know actually. I'm struggling to think of exactly what I could do on the 4th plinth that would be so impressive.
Anyway, back to the story.
Ultimately, my German exchange experience was a positive one, and it's an ambition of mine to go back to Germany one Oktoberfest.
Oh, you can see Mutty again.
I can't believe this Mutty stuff. I've obviously got that wrong, haven't I?
Do you still have Mutty's details? Maybe we,
Forest, Andreas.
maybe we should track Andreas down and you could officially
Oh, wow.
apologise.
I've always wondered what he'd be up to.
Put it to bed a bit, you know?
I haven't even looked on Facebook or anything like that to try find him.
I really hope that Andreas is doing exactly the same thing on some German radio station, just telling the story.
Yeah.
Führungsfansikiar at the tap end.
Yeah.
This is
Scott Mills.
BBC
Radio
1.